Hi folks, this week we're going to be working with completing the square. This is a review and this is for geometry. So as I said, this is a review of quadratic equations and we will be using these to help us write equations for circles. And so you will be required to know how to complete the square in order to write that equation. So we're going to review with a quadratic equation here. We have one written out, ax squared plus bx plus c. Each of the a, b, and c stand for actual numbers that are inputted in those areas. Now, the very first thing we're going to do with this equation for completing the square is instead of factoring it, we're actually going to rewrite it as ax squared. So this is going to be ax squared plus bx, and we're going to put a blank right there. We're actually going to be subtracting c from both sides, and so I'm going to write this is going to be equal to opposite c plus blank. And so this is going to be the setup for completing the square. We are going to actually input two separate values into those blanks right there, and we're going to find them with 4 different steps. So step 1 is going to be find 1/2 of b. So this b value right here, our step 1 is going to be finding 1/2 of b. In step 2, we are going to square the result. We then have step 3. You are going to add step 2, so add the result to x squared plus bx and opposite c. So to clarify here, this is just, you're going to add it to both sides. It's going to be easier to look at, I'm sorry, you can't see that. It's going to be easier to add it just to both sides instead of thinking through all of this. So first of all, we're finding 1/2 of b, then we are squaring the result, and then adding that result to both sides of the equation. Step 4 is to factor. So factor the remaining, let's factor the resulting expression as the square of a binomial. We're going to use the number in step 1. Our last and final step is step 5. Solve for x. We're going to do this by finding the square root of both sides. So these are our steps right here to completing the square. This should be something that is familiar to you. If not, you're going to want to write these down, which is why I'm just holding the camera right here, right now, so you can see and write it down. I would pause the video if I were you right now, so you could actually get all these steps down. Now, we're going to do one example problem here, and the example we're going to do, example 1, is we're going to complete the square for the equation x squared plus 8x minus 10 equals 0. So step 1, actually before even step 1, we're going to rewrite this equation as x squared plus 8x plus blank equals, I'm going to add 10 to both sides, so 10 plus blank. All right, step 1. And you don't actually have to write out all these steps every time, but I'm going to just for the sake of this video and just kind of show you how I move through all of the steps. I'm going to divide that b value by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. All right. Step 2. I'm going to square that value. 4 squared is 16. All right. Step 3. I'll put kind of step 3 up here. Step 3. I'm actually going to add this value right here to both of my blanks. Because whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. All right. Step 4. Going to factor the resulting expression, so this expression right here, as the square of a binomial. I'm going to use the number in step 1. Well, step 1 I had 4. So this equation is now a perfect square trinomial, and I'm going to factor it as x plus 4 squared. And I'm going to set that equal to, I'm actually going to add these two numbers together. 26. Okay. Step 5. Step 5. We are going to solve for x by finding the square root of both sides. So I'm going to take the square root of x plus 4 squared and the square root of 26. Now I'm just solving. So I'm actually going to just go x plus 4 because the square root of a quantity squared is what's underneath that quantity. So x plus 4 equals plus or minus root 26. Last step is to actually officially solve for that x value. So x is going to equal negative 4 plus or minus root 26. Now, if this right here needed to be simplified, I would simplify it. However, root 26 does not need to be simplified. So that is my final answer right there. I want you to try on your own. I will show the answer in a moment here. Example, I guess, 2. Example 2 right there. I want you to try x squared plus 10x minus 3 equals 0. So that is your challenge right here. I'd like you to pause the video, try that problem, and then in a moment here, we will come back and I will show you the work and the answer. All right. So hopefully this is what you should have gotten. You can pause the video again and screenshot this or write it down. You should have gotten negative 5 plus or minus 2 root 7 for your example 2. All right. Hopefully that helps you guys and have a wonderful day.